just as a whole with confidence is being around other people that have a passion for life, that are happy people and that are just speaking life into you all the time and vice versa. And so just putting yourself in those spaces, even if you don't feel like you belong in that room because of maybe financial reasons or status wise, it doesn't matter. Just get around those people one way or another. And your confidence will soon rise with theirs because you. Hey everyone, welcome to the Tori Cruz Show, where we're shining a light on real conversations and transformational stories with some of the most dynamic entrepreneurs and faith-driven leaders you'll ever meet. I'm Tori Cruz, your host, entrepreneur, virtual stylist, and former Miss Missouri USA, ready to guide you along this exciting journey. This isn't just any podcast. It's your new home for stories that uplift, conversations that transform, and a community that feels like family. From the real challenges to the exhilarating moments of achievement, we cover it all, infused with adventure, laughter, insights, and heartfelt discussions. So settle in, make yourself comfortable, and let's get this show on the road. This is the Tori Cruz Show. You know what? Some days you have to just do stuff for yourself.
Yeah. Well, so how many years ago was that?
Let's see, I moved to Arizona right after that, so 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been going to therapy ever since. I said, man, he's kept therapists in business.
Well, you are a stunning person, Tori, and
Thank you.
Been through a lot in a short age, right?
Yeah.
Because I think you told me yesterday you're 32.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And doing so fabulously well.
Thanks.
So confident, so mature, connected to some amazing people who believe in you 3,000%, right?
Yeah.
So if there are any other young women who are about your age right now that are still struggling with confident issues, relationship issues, following their own heart and their own vision, what would you tell them to do?
You know, a big thing is surrounding yourself with the right people. And oftentimes, if you can always tell how your confidence is being not adjusted, but affected by the surroundings that you're in.
Yeah.
And I think also your habits are huge with that. And I mean, you know, I've even cut back on drinking wine. I was telling you this the other day. I was like, I like to have a glass of Cabernet with dinner, right?
Yeah.
And so, but then it starts to become a habit. And then I realized that other habits, like, you know, working out in the morning starts slipping, which that gives me confidence, is working out and feeling good, feeling healthy about my body. When I'm not feeling as good, then I maybe slip up a little bit on my nutrition. Well, what makes me feel good? Healthy food.
Yeah.
And then also just showing up and just saying, you know, keeping commitments to myself is also what gives me confidence. And so when I see some habit or, I'll stick with habits right now. Like if I see some habit that's slipping, that's maybe not terrible,
right,
but it's just not helping me, then that is where I sit back and I just look and I'm like, all right, what habits do I have right now that maybe aren't bad, but they're just not actually serving my highest level self and making me feel like, you just ask yourself, is that one habit making me feel more confident or less confident? And if you don't know, go down that trickle effect of what else it could affect. And then honestly, if you switch that one habit up, there's always something. I feel like we all know what we need to change. Yeah. There's always one thing that we know that is just kind of sticking out there. So that was one thing for me. It's made me more confident to just tweak my habits a little bit to what makes me feel more confident. And then also, the other thing is prayer for me. You know, my faith is everything. So making sure that I'm consistent with my prayer life, going to church, surrounding myself with those, you know, with other Christians who are really empowering and uplifting. But then just as a whole with confidence is being around other people that have a passion for life, that are happy people and that are just speaking life into you all the time. And vice versa. And so just putting yourself in those spaces, even if you don't feel like you belong in that room because of maybe financial reasons or status wise, it doesn't matter. Just get around those people one way or another. And your confidence will soon rise with theirs because you see theirs. And if you're surrounded by a group of confident people, 5 confident people, you become the 6th confident person.
Totally agree. I talk about this all the time when I'm talking to people about going after their vision and their dream for their life. It's so important. Your power of association is everything.
Everything.
And to be honest, Tori, after building 2 businesses, There are lots of things I attribute to the success of that. But overall, I'm going to tell you, the people that I surrounded myself with and still do is a big factor.
Yeah.
Especially now as a speaker.
Oh my gosh, it's everything.
Well, it's a lot of who you know.
Yes.
In this industry.
Yes.
And I've just been confident enough to not be afraid to ask for help. Right? Learned that from my very good friend David Meltzer.
Yes.
Yeah, he's big
on great.
Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Tell people what you want to do. Get people around you that are going after their dreams too.
Yeah.
And if you've got anybody in your life, even one person that is not that person and you're still allowing them in, it affects you more than you know.
Oh, it does. It tears you down. I mean, the message last week was lock the doors at church. And it was just lock the doors on the distractions, lock the doors, specifically at church, it was like lock the doors on the devil from stealing your calling from your life. But in just a business situation, life situation, it's just like lock the doors from the distractions, the energy drainers, not people necessarily, but just anything that's draining your energy or pulling away that high frequency aspect of who you are. And it's so important to surround yourself with amazing people, but also empowering environments too.
Yeah. And I'm going to guess that if you're a young adult listening to this, you might be saying, okay, well, where do you find those people? Because I don't know how to do that, especially in the young adults and kids. They're so there's a huge isolation problem going on because so much of their world is social media. And when I talk to them, I'm like, okay, well, I'll take my son, for example. When he moved here to start his job at Channel 12, we moved from Colorado. And so all of his friends all went to different states to start their jobs, and he didn't really know anybody here.
Yeah.
And we had to really talk about, okay, how do you meet these people, right? And just I told him, start networking. Get on meetup.com, find an interest that you have. For him, it was tennis because he played college tennis. And just start going there.
Yeah.
And he started making friends, but it was not easy.
Yes, it isn't. And I think at this stage of life, at 32, being single at the moment, I don't know when this podcast is, manifestation.
Okay, yes.
But being 32, single, no kids, it really, and an entrepreneur, like you have you're not going to your kids' sport events. You're not going to work. And I mean, you're not, with I'm not like with my husband going to like do couple things. It really is a very weird place. I mean, young adults, think maybe in like their low 20s or something like that, where it's kind of weird. I mean, here I am at 32 and it's kind of still the same. So especially if you're, entrepreneurial minded and you're not going into an office or even work for a company and you work remote, you do face those challenges. So I actually, it's kind of funny you asked this because I just moved to Austin, Texas for a brief amount of time. And when I was there, I did not know anybody, like literally nobody, which is kind of rare because I know quite a few people at this point all over the country, but for some reason in my own city, it seems like I don't know as many people, which is kind of ironic. But when I was in Austin, I was like, okay, this is really challenging me again to learn how to find friends. Yeah. And at this stage, I really want to be around people who are like-minded in the entrepreneurial space, but also in the personal space too. I just find that I relate with people more who are also entrepreneurs and like to surround myself with those people, whether it's a personal event or business event. And so for me, I actually just went on Google and I typed in women's conference in Austin, Texas. And then I typed in women's faith-based entrepreneurial conference. And then I typed in women's entrepreneur. And then I just typed in all of the things that I was interested in. And I typed in country music, events. I love country. And so just different passions that I have and any outdoor like paddleboarding. I love paddleboarding. So I was like, oh, I wonder if there's like some fun paddleboarding groups. So I Googled it and then I went through like Eventbrite and just filtered through a ton of different things and I found some amazing events.
I'm sure.
And then I also went on Facebook and then I looked at the events page on Facebook. And I looked at it for like this week and then this month, and I just scrolled through everything. And some of the good ones are like, 50 scrolls down. Yeah. So just keep going. But I mean, that's truly how I found events. And I would just go. Yeah. And put myself out there. And then people are way more friendly than you think, and accepting and welcoming. I went to one of the things, this business luncheon. It was massive. It was like 800 women at the JW Marriott in downtown Austin. And it was, for the businesswomen of Austin. And I had no clue what it was. I had no clue what was going on. It was like an award show or something for them. And I went by myself and sat at this table with 8 amazing other women and met them. And then afterwards, I actually was mingling with some gals out in the lobby and ended up, fast forward, I met a bunch of women who worked for Kendra Scott headquarters and was in charge of the Kendra Scott Entrepreneurial Leadership Center at the University of Texas, which I've had a couple of meetings with to speak to their organization for a group of young women.
Nice.
And so it's just, you never know.
You don't know.
Just put yourself out there.
Yeah. And it's scary for some people, especially if you aren't as outgoing as you are. Sometimes when you say go network to somebody who's very introverted, it's the thought of them even walking into a room by themselves is scary, right? But I'm glad that you are telling people, because I wholeheartedly agree that they are more welcoming than you would know. Yeah. And you just never know who you're going to meet.
You never do. And I mean, if you are more introverted and it is a little bit more intimidating, I think the biggest thing is just go in and say, hey, if I meet one person, that's a win. Yeah. You don't have to overwhelm yourself and try to get all these business cards or all these contacts. Yep. And just go in and if I meet one person, just say hi to someone. Yep. Somebody's going to probably come up to you and say hi too, So just make it a very small goal, but just the fact that you got there is huge. Right. That says a lot. Yeah.
I used to network a ton. It's how I built both my businesses, actually, before there was all this digital marketing and online stuff. And I loved it at that stage of my life. But then I got to a point where, especially after I lost my husband and my son, where I didn't have that level of energy anymore to stay and meet everybody. So I adopted the thing that you were just saying, Tori, that if I get here and I just meet the one person that we connect, I don't need to stay and walk around the room just because I'm there. Yeah. I literally can meet that one person, make a connection, and go home if I'm done. Yeah. Right? Absolutely. I run out of words. I tell people now, I used to be the person that would stay until the end of the whole thing. Now I'm like, I'm out of words.
You know what's hilarious?
I hit a wall and I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah. I know it. I mean, it can be, even for somebody who's extrovert, it can be really exhausting. Yes. It takes a lot of energy to put yourself in rooms like that. Yeah. And actually, if I'm ever traveling and go to a networking event, I always stay at the host hotel. Always, because, or I guess try to, unless the rooms are booked, but I always try to, because these events go for quite a while. And to your point, that's exactly what I do now is I find, one or two people that I'm like, okay, this is great. I want to go deeper with them on in this, build a relationship with and learn more about who they are. And then I literally go up to my room. And I just relax, I chill, I catch up on work emails, I catch up on different styles for virtual styles for clients. And because I find that I show up better and more refreshed if I am not in the room the entire time. An event host probably would not like that. This is not event host promo, but that is something that I do. And then I actually, what I've learned this past year, I used to do the same thing. I would go to the entire event. I wouldn't miss hardly a minute because I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have FOMO. I might miss something. Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, I'll go to this session and then or this speaker and then I'll pop out and then I'll do this and then I'll pop out. But then I always make sure that I show up for the cocktail hours or not necessarily to have a cocktail, but just to mingle, right? That's the time when everybody's the most social and they're not in learning mode anymore. They want to talk. So I make sure that I have enough energy in my tank to go to these more like the after hour get-togethers and parties, because that's where the mingling, that's where the networking happens. Yeah. So
it's called organic connection.
Yes. Yeah.
Not forced. It's just very organic.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that we ended up talking about this, because it is, I think, a big part of helping people feel confident. Not just women, but men too. And that you have been able to push through a lot of rejection, a lot of grief, and just, take that as a lesson and apply it to where you want to go next.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, every single no always gets you one step closer to your yes.
Yeah.
So I learned that a long time ago in pageantry, where It was like, you know what? Every single competition, even when I placed second runner-up and then I placed first runner-up. You know how hard that was?
Yeah.
First runner-up was tougher than placing top 15 because
I'm sure.
I'm like, I was literally hand in hand. And then they didn't call my name. And it was just like, you know, but I just feel like that was such a lesson for life, you know, where it's like you can get so close and then your name isn't called. And it's just like, but I really feel like your character is truly defined in those moments. When you don't win. Right. And it really shows who your true character is and your discipline and perseverance. Yeah. And so I wouldn't give up any of those losses for anything now.
Well, it's created you to become a very mature, lovely, inspirational human.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm honored to know you, Tori.
Honored to know you too. It's been so much fun and just working together. And everything has been a blessing.
Yeah. More to come.
More to come.
Because we're both going in the same direction.
I know. Yeah. Hey, we'll probably share the stage someday.
Bring it on.
We need more female speakers out there.
Yes, we do.
Just, you know, I mean, I love when men are speaking on stage and the power, the energy that men bring is just, it's unbeatable. But then you get the feminine power, energy in the messages that are just a little bit sometimes more on the emotional side that bring home everything. It's just like such a compliment to events when you have both the female power and the men's power, and it's just like the inspiration that comes along and the energy is just, it excites me. I just actually got a message yesterday to speak at an event in Colorado here coming up in March, and I am like so excited. It just fires me up just thinking about it because I just love that, you know, you and I both share that same passion to help and inspire others by, you know, through speaking on stage. And it's such a beautiful vision and gift that, thank God, we've been given, right?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm honored to know you and can't wait for that day that we do that together.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to be so fun.
Well, I appreciate you being here so much, Tori. I know that people listening probably gleaned a lot from this, boosted their confidence, right? So thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
You'll be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tori Cruz Show. If today's episode inspired you, let's keep the momentum going. For our YouTube family, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop with our latest episodes. And for our podcast listeners, your ratings and reviews are incredibly valuable. They help us reach more people and continue bringing inspiring stories your way. Remember, this isn't just a podcast, it's a growing community of family. Every like, share, and review helps us grow on our journey together, helping us to highlight more impactful stories. Until next time, keep being the light for yourself and others. See you on the next adventure.